Wonderful. So thank you, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maximiliano Berger. I am the head of business development for Wing Specialized Bank. It is my utmost pleasure and privilege, of course, to be given the opportunity to present during this reverse pitch day. Just a quick overview on Wing Cambodia. So Wing is 100% owned by a royal group of companies, which is one of the largest conglomerates of Cambodia. Wing was founded 12 years ago in 2008 with the vision to use mobile financial services to drive financial inclusion and improve the lives of Cambodians. Today, actually, Wing is 600 employees strong and has around 10 million users who are serviced through a countrywide network of 8,000 agents with presence in every single district and commune. It is important to know that 80% of those agents, give or take, are also women. In 2019 alone, transaction volume in Wing network equal to approximately 90% of country GDP value. We work with over 500 corporate partners, including global leaders such as Visa, MasterCard, Alipay, and WeChat. That's in the payments processing spectrum. We also work with Western Union and MoneyGram International on the international remittance sector, and many other partners. So since the inception of Wing, Wing has pledged to improve the lives of those at the base of the pyramid by developing human-centered products and decrease the wide financial exclusion gap that exists today. Okay, so moving on. So without a doubt, nothing comes without its challenges, right? So that said, there are three key challenges which we have identified, we want to highlight. Those are number one, access to finance on the far left. In the middle, you have access to market. Number three on the far right is access to technology. So under access to finance, the biggest challenge here is that we see today is formal access to financial capital for small business owners. Attaining financial capital with the aim of improving business operations for these small business owners obviously stems from a mix of challenges. Just to mention a few here today, and through our interaction with all these SMEs and the small business owners, there's been a known lack of credit and alternative scoring, which results in extremely elevated interest rates. And secondly, the communication between these SMEs, so the communication channel between these SMEs and financial institutions is quite broken, is what we've noticed. Moving on to the second pillar, access to market. As Cambodian consumers become more and more sophisticated, the demand for quality products grows, right? So, however, the biggest hurdles here are the fragmentation of the industry and the underdeveloped infrastructure nationwide. Big corporations and government alike should strive to facilitate market access to SMEs by improving upon these challenges. And lastly, under access to technology, the lack of literacy on the usage of new and existing technologies and platforms leads to somewhat of a mass confusion of all the different services that there are in the market. So the next logical step is to arm business owners and of course the citizens of Cambodia with the knowledge and capacity to utilize modern technology and innovations in the favor to improve their livelihoods. So the main obstacle here are a few, but just to highlight two of them is behavior change and again, the existence of multiple non-holistic apps or services which are in the market and generally do not cater to all the needs of the users. All right, so now let's move on to the problem statement. So as mentioned before, Wing serves thousands of small enterprises across Cambodia. We offer payment collection, payment services, payment processing, salary disbursement for these micro enterprises, amongst other solutions. However, through our interaction with these micro enterprises, which represent close to 98% of the businesses in Cambodia and contribute a whopping 70% of the employment in the kingdom, we've come to realize that financial literacy, which according to ADB stands at 17% as of last year, and proper business tools represent a big challenge today for these enterprises. So the lack of access to such tools means that SMEs and micro SMEs are running their businesses without proper financial records, and this in turn is depriving them of accessing better or even any financial services at all. All right, so with the previous presented facts in mind, our challenge statement for the startups here today. So we try to keep it very simple. So how can Wing promote financial literacy and aim to close the huge gap that exists today, and at the same time incentivize MSMEs to adopt and improve in the areas of book and money management? So the criteria and expectations are the solution must have some gamification aspect or component to it, making the learning easy and fun while promoting financial literacy. Secondly, and very important to highlight, is that it must be adapted to the local context. Otherwise, the usage and adoption will likely be very low. All right, so that was our first challenge. Now moving on to our second proposed challenge, which is around savings products. So since, again, the inception of Wing in 2008, we've been at the forefront of financial inclusion in Cambodia, with special emphasis on mobile transfers and payments, mobile money. However, the adoption and the development of formal savings products, which are useful, continue to be a problem. According to an ADB report, there's a $22.5 billion gap between formal supply and the actual needs of Cambodians. In the same report, it was estimated that a potential impact of digital financial applications developed in a proper manner, considering factors such as human-centered design, may help bridge the gap to around $3 billion. That brings us to our problem statement. So here we want to know, how can Wing revolutionize and incentivize savings in a simple and easy to access manner? And the criteria for this challenge is to focus on simplicity and ease of use. So these two components are very important to us and for a product that it, again, creates adoption and is used. And we want to create a product that Cambodians are proud to use and obviously can help them with their livelihood. The solution can come in any form. We're looking for something that could be a new product or a revolutionary business model, or an enhancement of an existing savings product with that criteria. All right, thank you. That'll be it for the presentation today. Thank you again to the organizers. And we really look forward to hearing and discovering those brilliant startups who can come up with revolutionary and, more importantly, meaningful solutions to the needs of all Cambodians. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. Max. I'm Kui Suong, Startup Development Specialist at the Techo Startup Center. So for this session, I will be the moderator. Our OI team will be gathering questions from the live event and I'll be asking them to you. So the first question is, could you explain what bookkeeping is?
Sure. So I think one of the presenters previously, Chanda Pen from Bongloy, was explaining what bookkeeping is. But bookkeeping essentially is a tool such as QuickBooks. That's bookkeeping, right? So it's for businesses to be able to log in their sales, track their sales, and essentially with this tool they can develop and produce financial statements for the purpose of paying their taxes, for the purpose of applying for a loan, for example. So this is a very important tool for businesses to have, to be able to access the actual financial sector and to reduce the gap of financial exclusivity that exists today.
Thank you very much for the answer. The next question regarding the financial literacy, are you referring to the saving money or the investment or both?
So financial literacy, yeah, it's a broad term that is widely used today, but what we're referring to here is enabling those micro SMEs and small enterprise business owners to understand finance, essentially. So we want to focus in this case in saving, why savings is an important thing. And of course, we've come to realize that financial literacy is not easy to implement, right? So behavior change is hard to change, essentially, right? So the reason why we're looking for a solution around financial literacy that is gamified is that a lot of the small business owners tend to learn in a visual manner, right? So financial literacy is pretty much education on why savings and other financial tools are important.
Thank you very much. The third question is, what are the criteria to decide or judge whether it is a completely revolutionary business model? This is regarding to the challenge number 2.
Thank you. Well, I actually, I want to leave that open to the startups. We're looking for something that will revolutionize, obviously, the market, but we also will look for business models that don't necessarily reinvent the wheel, right? If the startups are able to come up with a revolutionary model, at least our criteria will be that there's going to be wide adoption and usage, and it's going to improve the livelihoods of those people using it. So I think to us that is revolutionary. It doesn't mean it's reinventing the wheel.
Thank you very much. The next question coming from the live event. How do you think bookkeeping is important, and does it require any regulation from the government?
Yeah, so bookkeeping, in my opinion, is very important to run a business properly, right? So enable to reduce the gap of financial exclusion, right? So to have more financial inclusivity in the country, we need tools like this that are adopted and easy to use for the enterprises. The importance of these tools is that with this tool and having a record of the sales, inflow and outflow of the money that is generated by the business, then the businesses can actually apply for loans. It's one component, right? And through bookkeeping, they also have track of their sales, right? So it serves for the purpose of tax paying to the government. So there is compliance from these small businesses if they're using proper bookkeeping tools. As far as the government regulation, I cannot speak of any regulation that is around bookkeeping. Some guidelines, not necessarily any regulation, but there might be some guidelines as to what bookkeeping is for small enterprises.
Thank you very much. I think there is no more question from the audience. So this is the end of the Q&A session. I would like to give the floor to Dr. Vidita to continue to the next session. Thank you very much.